talking about neurons in the previous videos. Now we will understand the complete system by which it works, all its processing, and how does it contribute to nervous system. So nervous system is basically a network of neurons whose main function is to generate, modulate, and transmit information between all the parts of the body. If we see its structural divisions, they are basically two. That is central nervous system, also known as CNS. Second is peripheral nervous system, that is also known as PNS. About the central nervous system, it's neural tissues within the skull, basically skull and vertebral column. That is the integrative and command center of the body. Main parts are brain and spinal cord, as its definition says. The other one is peripheral nervous system. Its neural tissues are basically outside the CNS, whose function is to convey the information between the CNS and the rest of the body. Its basic parts are peripheral nerves and ganglia. If we see the functional division of nervous system, that is again divided into two parts: autonomic nervous system, also known as ANS, and somatic nervous system, that is also known as SNS. Autonomic nervous system is basically involuntary components of PNS that controls cardiac, glandular, and smooth muscles that we have already studied. That what are the components that are included into involuntary systems. So basically cardiac, that is the heart muscle cells, glandular, the muscle cells present in the glands of the body, and smooth muscle cells. Its basic divisions are again sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous. Then we come to somatic nervous system, that is voluntary component of the PNS, in charge to direct the voluntary body movements and convey feel sensation from the skin, muscle, and joints. So basically, it's divided into involuntary and voluntary. Somatic thing is about the voluntary component, that is again directed from the body movements and convey feel sensations from the skin, muscle, and joints. So voluntary is something that we think and do. Involuntary is something that is always happening. If we talk about the heart, it's not taking a permission, it's not thinking anything, it's working continuously. But if we consider the body movements, suppose if we are feeling something is hot, then we will deject our hand or we will take our hand from there, and that is something known as voluntary. So we have studied autonomic and somatic. Autonomic is about the involuntary movement, and somatic is about the voluntary component. Autonomic consists of sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system, as we just studied. On the other hand, the somatic is just consists of the all kinds of voluntary movements. Then we will come to neuron, that we have been taking name in the previous videos again and again. That is the basic functional unit of nervous system, and they receive and transmit neural impulses, meaning that neurons receive, process, and integrate information from all regions of the body and send instructions on how body tissues are to respond to environmental and internal events. So neurons are comprised of a cell body, a neural processes, that is axons and dendrites. You can see the diagram. They are structurally classified based on how many processes they have. So basically they are unipolar, pseudo-unipolar, bipolar, and multipolar. The axons of most neurons are wrapped with a white substance called myelin. Myelinated axons are found in the white matter, giving it its color and distinguishing it from gray matter. Myelin insulates axons and allows quicker transmission of electrical impulse. A bundle of axons in the CNS is called a tract. In the PNS, this bundle is called a nerve. Aside from neurons, there are other nervous system cells, for example, glial cells, which play supporting roles. The nervous system controls every aspect of body's function ranging from essential physiological process, that is body temperature and the sleep wake cycle, voluntary commands, that is about the movements that we just discussed about, all the ways to the most complex features of a human being, that is higher order thinking and the whole spectrum of emotional behavior. There are two structural divisions of the nervous system, the central and the peripheral, that we just discussed. Functionally, the nervous system is divided into the somatic and the autonomic that we just discussed. Informally described as our voluntary and involuntary systems, that we have just understood what is the meaning. So information flows within the nervous systems can be described as afferent and efferent. Afferent pathways carry information from peripheral tissues to the CNS, while efferent pathways carry the command on how to respond. So these are the two things. Central nervous system, if we talk about, is consists of the brain and spinal cord. The brain is found in the cranial cavity, while the spinal cord is found in the vertebral column. Both are protected by three layers: dura, arachnoid, and pia mater. The brain generates commands for target tissues, and the spinal cord acts as a conduct connecting the brain to peripheral tissues via the PNS. The brain is divided into cerebrum, diencephalon, cerebellum, and brainstem. The spinal cord is continuous with the brainstem. So now we will see what is cerebrum and cerebral cortex. The cerebrum makes up most of the brain. It is found in the cranial vault. The cerebrum consists of the two cerebral hemispheres, that is left and right, and five lobes. All the lobes except one are named according to the cranial bones on which they lean: frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital, and insular lobes. The insular lobes is hidden just beneath the frontal, temporal, and parietal lobes. Insula means island, which the insular lobe is indeed, an isle of gray matter hidden under the surface of the cerebrum. The most superficial layer of the cerebrum is the cerebral cortex. It is the layer of the gray matter which displays numerous folds, that is sulci and gyri, can be categorized structurally or functionally, and is home to areas such as the primary motor cortex and the primary somatosensory cortex. Stem is the most caudal part of the brain. It consists of the midbrain, that is known as mesencephalon, pons, and medulla oblongata. The cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata are often grouped together under the name hindbrain. The importance of the brainstem lies in several of the features together, giving the brainstem the informal definition as a survival center. It contains of all the cranial nerves, nuclei, all providing somatic and autonomic controls of the head and neck. It contains the nuclei of the reticular formation. It contains sympathetic and parasympathetic nuclei providing vital centers that controls activities like breathing, heart rate, and vasomotion. All pathways between the spinal cord and the cerebellum pass through brainstem. The cerebellum lies between the cerebrum and the medulla of the brainstem. It plays an important role in regulating motor functions, participating in the planning and modulation of motor activities, including the coordination of the body while moving. Like the cerebrum, the cerebellum has two hemispheres, that is left and right. They are connected by midline mass called the vermis. It also has three lobes. The cerebellal cortex forms the outermost layer of the cerebellum and is comprised of gray matter. Talk about spinal cord, that is medulla spinalis. The spinal cord is found in the vertebral column. It is continuous with the brainstem extended from the foramen magnum of the occipital bone to the L1, L2 vertebra. This caudal part of CNS transmits information to and from the periphery by interacting with the peripheral nervous system. However, it is more than just a channel between the brain and the body. It also modifies and integrates the information that passes through it and participates its reflexes. If we talk about brain blood supply, the brain's arterial supply is provided by two major sources, that is the internal carotid artery and the vertebral artery.